Good morning. Thank you for staying with Daybreak. Here's the latest update at this hour. So the government is expected to announce further measures to deal with the spread of coronavirus after a string of what the Health C.S Mutahi Kagwe termed as indiscipline among Kenyans. The further measures come on the day when Kenya will now stop all the international flights in and out of the country, and just a day after Kenya confirmed 9 more cases, 3 of which were classified under local infections, which essentially means that the 3 had no history of travel but came into contact with those who had traveled abroad and got the infection. Government says it's doing everything it can to put Kenyans, but the Kenyans also have to play their role.
Suffering from cases of indiscipline. And Kenyans are exhibiting a very indisciplined behavior. And this is going to cost us. If we tell you that a matatu should have 8 people, and then you do it when you are being watched by the police, and then when you leave the police, you go and start doing it, you go back to normal. It is unfathomable. It is difficult to understand what you are trying to do. Are you trying to kill yourself, or are you trying to kill the people that you are carrying in your matatu? It's a grievous mistake for us to give you your child because we don't want the child exposed, and then you go exposing the child at home. And then afterwards, you call us and say, Serikali's idea. It doesn't work. This is one time when you idea, the government won't idea, because the government cannot help each and every home and every child. We want responsibility among citizens. We will be announcing further measures as in view and in consideration of the developments so far.
So one of the best ways to keep COVID-19, which is the disease caused by the coronavirus, is to wash your hands as regularly as possible. But did you know that it takes some level of skill to wash your hands properly? Joining me on Skype now is Mariam Sidibe. She holds a PhD in hand washing. She's been in the quarantine for 15 days actually, after having traveled for a while. Mariam, thanks for making time for us. How are you feeling, first of all?
Yes, I'm feeling fine. It was a prevention measures. I've been out of quarantine since Sunday.
Yeah.
Because I came back into the country on the 8th of March. So.
Well, that's good to know. So how then do you wash your hands properly? What is the best way of washing hands? Because you have a PhD in hand washing.
I think the most important thing to remember in this time is that you need to wash hands frequently. Yeah. I think, and thoroughly. I think you need to make sure that there is enough soap and enough lather, and that running water is actually being used. And I think, obviously, this is a huge challenge for many people across the country, but it is absolutely the best line of defense that we have today is regular practice of hand washing with soap. I think one of my biggest advice is that you have to do it at least for 20 seconds, and that you have to make sure that you're doing the inside as well as the outside of the hand to make sure that it is thoroughly washed. I think it's important to clarify what a PhD in hand washing is. I have a doctorate in public health, and I've done my research on hand washing with soap over, about 15 years ago, looking at children across the world and what exactly makes them wash their hands and what doesn't. And we've learned quite a lot on the behavior change behind hand washing with soap. And we know that globally 20% of people, only 20% of the world wash their hands. So that means 4 out of 5 people will not be washing their hands with soap. Yeah. So therefore there's a whole science behind why you should be washing your hands and how to encourage people to wash hands.
Yeah. So as you demonstrate to me how exactly, step by step, how you wash your hands, does the soap matter? Can it be gel, hand washing gel, bar soap? Is it the same? Is it all right to use any? Just as you demonstrate how it's being done.
Well, I think the most important is that any soap matters and any soap is fine. So I think that's really important to remember that. Whether it is a bar soap, whether it's a toilet bar, whether it is a liquid bar, a liquid soap, I think all of that matters, So it's the most important is that you actually practice the hand washing with soap and water. The coronavirus is what is called an enveloped virus. So basically it lives in a membrane that's a layer of fat. So the soap soap actually breaks it down and then removes the virus. So I think this is the key part that you need to remember, and this is why hand washing with soap really is the most important and the best line of defense that we have against the spread of coronavirus.
Yeah.
And when you don't have access and you're out and about, having your sanitizer with you is absolutely key. It has to be a sanitizer though that's above 60% alcohol content of ethanol.
Yeah. I can see your hands very clearly. Just demonstrate to me how exactly to do it. And why is this a 20 seconds affair? Why not 15 or 30 seconds?
Well, I think it takes that long to be able to get a thorough wash of the inside of the soap, of the hand on the outside, because people tend to forget the outside.
Yeah.
To make sure that each one of the fingers are actually being washed properly,
Yeah.
that you're looking under your nails as well, and that you rinse properly. I think that's absolutely critical. And then at the end of that, to make sure that you dry it. I mean, that also helps, remove any leftover germs that could be there.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to remember that every hour that your hand can be recontaminated. So after a thorough hand wash. So that's why the frequency of washing hands is absolutely critical. With any soap that you can find, with the water that you can set up.
So is there a time frame? How many times am I supposed to wash my hands in an hour or in a day? What is the recommended number of times?
Well, I think there's about, I would say, 12 to 14 times in a day where, there are moments of hand washing with soap. And the critical moment from a public health perspective is obviously before you eat, because you're about to put something in your mouth. It's after coming out of the toilets. But I mean, at the moment, there's extra in terms of not touching your face, not touching your eyes.
Yeah.
So I would say, already if you are confined at home, and you're not having any public exposure, is to at least make sure you're observing the critical periods of before eating, after coming out of the toilet. Just, every time that you're about to put something in your mouth, make sure that your hands are being washed. If you count this, that's an easy 10 to 12 times in a day.
And Mariam, before I let you go, does having short nails help? Does it matter whether my nails are short or long?
I'm not sure that it matters. What matters is the thoroughly wash under.
Yeah.
So I think what matters is making sure that you are not forgetting to rinse and check what's under your nails as well. I think that is probably the most important thing that you can do is, frequently washing your hands.
All right. Thanks, Mariam. Mariam Sidibe there speaking to us live on Skype. There, she is a PhD in hand washing. That's what they say. It says 20 seconds, clean your hands, in and out, and do it as many times as 12 to 14 times in a day. All right? Now you know. So let me take you to a different place. Over in Narok, 7 people are currently being quarantined in Narok after coming into contact with a man whose father has tested positive for COVID-19. So they've been placed under supervised isolation in Transmara West. The Narok County Coronavirus Response Team has also identified other people who interacted with the 7 persons since Saturday and placed them in self-quarantine at their homes. The man whose father has been confirmed to be positive has been taken to Bagathi, Nairobi for close observation and testing. The patient recently traveled from overseas only to develop the symptoms later on. Joining me on phone now is Ruben Motochi. He's our correspondent in Narok. Ruben, good morning. What more do we know about these 7? How are they doing? What is the situation like right now?
Good morning, Trevor, in the studio.
Yes.
Currently, the county government has sent actually a team of experts in Narok West to confirm the 7 cases, and the governor is yet to issue an official statement over the same.
Yeah.
But like you said before, there was a woman, pastor, who had traveled from Sweden 3 days ago. She'd actually been ordered by the airport authorities to self-quarantine herself, but she failed, thereby she went ahead and held a get-together party at her home here in town at Lenana Estate. So this actually, like you see, is an exposure and a risk to the health of other people who are innocent over the same.
Okay. So
she has been held at the hospital,
and
of course she'd be facing charges after the 15 days forced quarantine by the authorities.
Okay, so just a quick one from me, Motochi. What are some of the things you've seen the county put in place to fight this virus that is now a pandemic in the entire world?
Currently, the county government has actually ordered the closure of open markets.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that we have the issue of selling of cattle in markets, which is actually prone. There are some cattle which also are known to come from Tanzania. Mm-hmm. All that has been closed down. And also, the county government has involved the local radio station in sensitizing people on the basic hand washing equipment and ways to stay safe over the COVID-19.
All right. Thanks, Ruben. That's Ruben Motoji speaking to us on phone. He's our correspondent in Narok. There are 7 people who've been placed under quarantine right now after having interacted with the son to a patient who was confirmed positive. So the patient is, the father to the son is the one who's confirmed positive, but the 7 sort of interacted with this son. So we're still keeping an eye on that developing story there. The governor will be giving an update. Samuel Tunai later on will let you know what comes out from that place. So we're speaking about counties, and they're racing against time to set up in preparations for the COVID-19 spread. Nyanza Region Security top brass engaged Kisii County government in a closed-door meeting in an attempt to come up with a strategy to ensure that the public adherence to the set government regulations in combating the spread of coronavirus in the counties. Nyanza Regional Commissioner James Kianda says that the government has now issued a directive to all chiefs and sub-chiefs to provide sensitization programs to locals in the villages. Kisii County Governor James Ongwae applauded the national government for putting up regional testing center in Kisumu, saying it will then benefit the entire western region on matters COVID-19. Our Kisii correspondent Crispin Otieno has more.
We continue to grapple with the global pandemic, the coronavirus. Here in Kisii County, Nyanza Region security officers engaged Kisii County government in a closed-door meeting, which is aimed at combating the deadly virus here in Kisii County.
All of us are working as a team. At the region, we are coordinating a committee, which is virtually incorporating all the county commissioners, the governors, and the CEC members in charge of health. And I think from where I sit, we are doing quite well.
In terms of the spaces for those who want to have a good time, the bars and other restaurants, you know, the directives that have been given from Nairobi, those are being implemented very, very closely with the county government enforcement officers, but even much more so with the national government. The police commander is in charge.
Nyanza Regional Commissioner James Kianda revealed that the government has now set up a testing center in Kisumu in which samples from this region will be tested.
I have now been informed by the Regional Commissioner that a testing center has been opened in Kisumu. That is going to be very good for us as a county here and all the other counties in the Nyanza region.
The government has now issued a directive to chiefs and the sub-chiefs to ensure that they sensitize locals on matters COVID-19.
Ni vizuri kila chief na assistant chief atafute zaidi ya masaa 10 akitembelea wananchi wake, lakini kuna ile njia anaweza tembea polepole afikie wananchi. Kwa hivyo ni lazima tutembee kwa wananchi, tuwahamasishe ili wahakikishe ya kwamba wameelewa ni vipi tunaweza kuzuia huu ugonjwa.
It is now a collective responsibility of all residents here in Kisii to ensure that they combat the deadly virus. Crispin Otieno, Citizen TV, in Kisii County.
All right, and on that note, we're taking a quick break here. There's more updates coming away at around 10 a.m. We'll keep you updated every single hour all through the day just to know what's happening with the coronavirus update. What we know right now is that the government is expected to give more stringent measures henceforth after what the CS Health called indiscipline among Kenyans. We're also having information from one Stephen Leto that Narok County is planning to shut down the Masai Mara in an attempt to stop the spread of the COVID-19. As we speak, 7 people are still in quarantine right now. That is yet to be confirmed because the governor is expected to give an update later on today. All right, that does it for me. My name is Trevor Mbija. We'll give you more updates every single hour. Do not be worried. We will be with you here every single day until we beat the virus. All right, because we will beat the virus. See you in a bit.